Meanwhile, while Miko was on her way to see the first of her materials arriving and the gathering of her crew for the first time, other events were transpiring. Down on the planet's surface, housed within a lavish hotel complex, within it an ambassadorial suite, a room fit for a king, a man stood in front of a full-length body mirror, patiently looking at it as he was being dressed, a Kothian, telltale by his scaly skin and razor-sharp teeth, there being dressed by a beautifully dressed female Kothian of slight stature and figure, as she painstakingly adjusted every aspect of his attire. "Is this satisfactory, sir?" the female Kothian said, as she stopped working for the time being. "Yes, this will do nicely. I am such a mess. Whatever would I do without you, Vima? I'm always required to wear such exorbitant clothing, and yet to this day I haven't the foggiest of how to put it on." "There is no need to thank me, Lord Ralda. It is my greatest honor to serve you." "Ah, you're too modest, Vima. Honestly, most of the time I feel like you do my job more than I do. In fact, I rather feel that your abilities are wasted as an assistant. I have suggested you for advancement many times, Vima, and yet, despite it all, you continue to turn down every promotion. Quite frankly, it's a waste. You're young, beautiful, and talented," the man said, as he brushed off his suit somewhat. A flowing robe of teal green and black. "Truly, what will become of your younglings one day if you continue to refuse promotion? It would pain my heart to see you spend your entire life working for me so diligently, only to have your younglings forced to struggle as much as you have. Why do you not accept the promotions? Speak truly with me, Vina." "Because my place is beside you, now and forever, my lord. I have no desire to be anywhere else, regardless of what status it may adorn me. There are many people on our home world. I have worked for many, met many, and come to know many. But in all the years that I have lived, I have never met a man with more honor and true character as yourself. Most other people in your status and position do absolutely nothing despite the plight of our world. However, despite all expectation, you continue to take on exceptionally dangerous tasks. You are not a soldier, nor a warrior, a secret agent or assassin, and yet time after time you continue to throw yourself into the wake of combat in order to negotiate peace and ensure the stability of our world, while most other high nobles simply sit in their ivory towers and expect the situation to be resolved for them. So long as they remain safe, they do not care what happens to the rest of the world, to the rest of our people. You are one of very few who actually do, who risks life and limb despite the fact that he does not have to, in order to benefit our people. For this reason, I vow that I will work for you until the day that I die, or that the part of you that wishes to help our people truly dies and leaves you. But I suspect that such a thing will never occur, and as such, you will never be without me," the woman said, taking a slight bow towards the man. "You know, honestly, Vima, you're too good for me. You heap these praises upon me, and yet, despite all my effort, there seems to be very little I can do. I wish to ferry peace and the stability of our world, and yet, all I seem to be able to do is prolong the war." limit the casualties rather than stopping them. It's as if nobody wishes to stop waging war, he said, looking seriously at his reflection in the mirror, as the doors to his room opened, startling him and his assistant for a moment, as they looked over to see a figure that you are familiar with. It's Solstice Amar, clothed in a simple black and gray. He walked into the room with purpose and intent, walking towards the two and stopping just a foot or two away, taking a slight bow. "My lord," he said as he rose his head back up. "All of the arrangements have been made, sir. I have found you transportation, the best quality ship that we could attain on such short notice, being that the transport that you used to get here had been discovered, and the enemy is now looking for you. I managed to cut a deal with a ship that recently made port here." "Well, that's wonderful news. Why do you look so serious, Solstice?" "Sir, the situation is extremely dangerous. The number of enemy ships that have been entering this territory is, well, quite frankly, beginning to concern me highly. However, there have been some interesting developments," Solstice said as he looked towards the young woman standing in the room. "Perhaps I should wait," he said, looking her over for a moment. "Don't be ridiculous, Solstice. Vima is my most trusted assistant. She has been with me through the most hardened of times. I assure you, you can trust her. Speak, Solstice." "Yes, sir," he replied. "Well, the ship that I contracted to transport us is categorized as a Class A vessel, or at least it was when it first entered. However, I underestimated the ship's capabilities greatly. I've managed to slip a spy on board the ship. They're feeding me information now. According to them, the ship's capabilities are, well, staggering. Unlike any other ship that they've ever seen, they have never come across its likeness before. They're completing modifications that would take months, at minimum, or possibly even a year or more, and doing so in a time frame that's quite frankly absurd, ridiculous to even consider possible, and yet they're doing it nonetheless, upgrading everything from defenses to weaponry to internal systems. According to their projections, by the time that we board the ship and leave tomorrow, the status of the ship will have been upgraded to that of an S-rank war vessel," he said, as an alarm seemed to sound from within the interior of the clothes he was wearing. As he reached in, grabbing a data pad and turning it on, beginning to look the screen over carefully. "Scratch that. It's gone even further. According to the updates that I just received, they've somehow expanded the ship drastically. It was a Category 1 ship, but it's now moved up to Category 2. And with the new weapons and armaments installed, it's now a Category 2 ship, Rank B. They're more than tripling its capabilities. Quite frankly, sir, it's astonishing. I've never seen anything like it. And my spy on board is in agreement. There's no doubt that these changes will greatly increase our chances of making it back to the home world safely. However, while things are looking up, that does not detract from the dangers. We are still highly likely to encounter resistance along our travel. And we also have the problem of this captain collecting an entirely new crew. I was able to slip a spy on board, so we cannot overlook the possibility that others may have tried to do the same. That means that the Rota could have planted their own agent. It's not guaranteed that they've done so. There's no proof, no evidence that can make it assured. However, the possibility that the Rota have paid someone who was hired on board their crew off still exists, and thus only increases the danger, which means that we also have to be wary of the crew themselves, even this captain. She claims her name is Mika. I've never heard of her, and she doesn't have any reputation in the sector, all of which only raises more questions. Where did this Captain Mika come from? How did she come in possession of such a powerful ship? Where is her former crew? Why does she have to get replacements? It's all questionable, sir. However, none of the other ships would really stand a chance in combat against the odds we're facing. So, it's a risk that we have to take. I am sorry that I could not give you something of a higher guarantee, sir. Nonsense, Solstice. You have made the best of a bad situation. I could not ask for more. We must simply pray that in this course of events, luck will be in our favor.